It's always hard, and that's how it should be, because that makes you appreciate what you have. So like, I'm not gonna say I wanna like do it over. Yeah. Like, I'm good. Like, let's leave that in the back. I learned, but I think it's important to go through that so you, as an owner, can relate to what the coaches are going through. Like, girl, I know you're getting up at 4 a.m. Like, it's tough. I feel like it made me a better owner to really have to go through the trenches in the beginning, so I'm more relatable.
I am your host, Mary Catherine. Thank you so much for joining us today. A little background if you are new to the show. So I started as a Fit Body Bootcamp owner in 2017. And today I have successfully opened multiple bootcamp locations, and I also serve as the community manager for the Fit Body brand. I love being the host of Beyond the Scale, where we talk about everything related to health and fitness and mindset and just living your life not for metrics and not for that number on the scale. So today's guest, we have Rebecca Walter. I'm super excited to talk to Rebecca. Rebecca is the owner and operator of 210 Fit Body Bootcamp in St. Augustine, Florida. She has been happily married to her husband, Justin, for 11 years, and they have 2 little boys, Matthew and Andrew. Before she took the leap into opening her own fitness studio in 2022, she was a licensed dental hygienist for over 10 years. Rebecca has always had a passion for helping people, which is what led her to owning her own gym. She believes that group fitness is so much more than a workout. It allows people to not only feel better about themselves physically, but also gives mental clarity and creates unbreakable relationships. Rebecca's mission is to continue to inspire fitness and change lives every single day. For Rebecca, it is extremely rewarding helping people transform into a version of themselves that they never thought that they could be. Welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, I love to start my episodes when I have an owner to just kind of talk about your journey to ownership, talk about how you even got started with the Fit Body brand. So let's start there.
Absolutely. So like you said, previously I was a dental hygienist. So, you know, I'm like, I had a plan. Like, I went to school for hygiene. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I have my kids, I have my husband. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know, in it. And you're like, wait, is this all we're doing? Like, is this it?
Yeah.
So I've always had a passion for working out. I've done like the CrossFit route, pre-babies, then started getting into boot camps, work out from home. And my husband's always had this drive to be a small business owner. So it just kind of like collided. And one day I came home from boot camp and was like, hey, we could do this. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we could totally do this. Like, I have the passion for it. You know, you have the brains behind it. Like, you know how to run a small business, and here we are.
That's awesome. So I want to back up a little bit. So you were going to another boot camp at the time.
Yes.
And had you been doing that for a while? Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, not crazy long, because like I said, I did CrossFit for probably like 5 years. And then once we started having babies, like, it just wasn't, you know, super family friendly. So then I transitioned to working out at home. And then that gets boring. So I found a boot camp that actually had child care, so I could go work out and put them like in the child room. So I worked out there for about a year, but I instantly knew, like within a couple months, like, hey, this is a good gig. Like, and it would be so fulfilling. Not that I was looking to get out of hygiene, because I was happy with hygiene. I love my profession, but it just kind of created like, like a win, you know, like a light bulb went off.
Right.
Like, we could do this and do it really well.
Oh, that's so awesome. Was there any part of you that was scared to leave the dental hygiene field and think to your, like, oh gosh, could I go back to that if this doesn't work out?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I worked hard, you know, like I worked hard to be a hygienist, and I loved it. And it was very rewarding too. Like, you're still helping people. You work in a small group, so you're so close with your doctors and your team members. So it's like this tight-knit community. They were at my wedding and like saw me have babies and, you know, like baby showers. So it wasn't just like a 9-to-5 job. Like, I was really invested in hygiene, and I loved it. I love my patients. So it was definitely like a transition and a second, like, we don't have it bad, so why do we want to change it, you know? But with that foundation, I felt like fitness was very similar. Like I'm still gonna have a tight-knit group with my trainers, and I'm still gonna love my clients like I love my patients, and I'm still gonna be able to like help so many people just in like a different gateway of health. So it just seemed like a really natural transition for me, and something my personality already knew how to do, just kind of in a different way.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I love how invested you are into building a community.
Yeah.
And it's so much more than just a gym. And you and I spoke in those beginning stages when you were looking into owning your own fit body.
Right.
And I remember like talking about your hesitations, but then also your excitement.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think you did such a great job with is building out your studio to look the way that you wanted it to look.
Right.
Like you had that vision.
I did.
Talk to us a little bit about like just learning how to communicate to a builder, communicate to the person that was designing it, like what your vision was, and like that stage, that growth phase in building it all out and getting it to that point where you can actually open. Like that is challenging.
It was
so challenging.
It was
Talk to us a little bit about that. Like what were some of the things that you witnessed, like your setbacks and
it was very challenging because you don't know what you don't know, right? So like going into it, you're like, oh yeah, we'll do this and that and this and that, and then we're gonna have this, and then you're like, reality hits, and you're like, wait, how much is that? Oh wait. So I can't even tell you like how many like pieces of computer paper I would like draw out
like
the
what
layout,
you want it to look like,
because you're like, okay, I like to just think like what do I really want? I don't want to think about how much it's going to cost or like what it is to move this pipe. Like what is the ideal layout, and then see if that's realistic. So we definitely like, had to go back and forth a lot. My dad is an electrician, so he's like smart in the contract world, so that helped a lot. But there was definitely a lot of sticker shock and like reality hit, and you're just on this fast pace, like here we go, and I always like, I'm really thankful for my husband, and with Trevor, it's just like, you're a team, and you just kind of look at each other and you're like, we got this, because that's the only option. Like you can't like go hide in a closet, so it's just like, okay, we've done parenthood, we've renovated, we have a fixer-up house, like we've done that, we've done all the things, and like this is just the next step, and you just look at them and buckle up and you do it, and that's what we did.
I will say there have been so many times like that for us where if I was doing this alone and I had these moments where like I wasn't sure, like what's my next step, should I do this, should I not, if I didn't have him to look at, I don't know where I would be. And there have been so many situations where I found myself in like, if I'm glad I have him, because no matter what, like we're in this together. Yeah, like you said,
you're gonna figure it out, because I mean, there's really no other option, right? And we're not quitters, so it's just to have that like backup, which I think is so important in a relationship. Of like, if I'm feeling like, oh no, then he's there, and then if he's feeling like, oh God, then I'm there. Like, no, we did this for a reason. We're gonna pursue and keep going. Like, we've got this.
Exactly. So you built out this amazing studio, and for our listeners, the Fit Body Bootcamp as a brand today has this amazing concept. It's called Fit Body in a Box, and they have a team that can meet you wherever you are at in the US, and they can help build out your studio for you. They did not have that when I started out, and I don't think they had that when you did either. No. But it's such a great concept, and I know that it's helped so many owners. So you open up your location. Talk to us about like those few months in the beginning. Like what were your challenges? What were your greatest points that you experienced?
Like, you work months. Like we had great contractors, so we stayed on time, which was like very beneficial and less stressful. So you work, these months to open. I actually got the flu.
Oh no.
So like the whole first week we were open, I wasn't even there.
No.
Yeah, like talk about, because when you're so stressed, you're so tired, like it was more than I had ever taken on in my life, I knew hygiene, it was predictable, I'd been doing it for so long, and now I'm like a business owner and a boss and all these things. So the whole first week that we were open, I didn't step foot in the gym. I was like, Justin, you gotta do it. Like. So that was interesting. We had coaches, so like it was never our plan to coach, so that wasn't like a setback or anything. So in the beginning it was just a struggle because I physically was not there because I was home sick. So that was interesting. And then just like I said, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So like you think you've got it all together. Like, oh, I've done boot camps, I worked out, we got this. And then there's just these things that happen. Maybe the team members that you brought on aren't, what you expected. And before you open, like we interviewed our coaches at a park. I was like, do a mock-up workout for me. My husband and I and my girlfriend Sarah would like go work out. So we, hired our first 2 coaches that way. And then I think when you're in the trenches and you're going through it, like things change a little bit and you're like, well, maybe it's not the best fit that we thought. So just like those little growing pains in the beginning to find like who your people are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's like you said, when you have a coach that you're interviewing them in a park or you're not in the gym and they're not experiencing what it's actually going to be like.
Right.
It's so hard to envision them being there with your clients okay, are they going to be the right fit?
Right. And interacting with the team. I mean, that's huge for me, especially with my background. Like, you're only as good as your teammate. So like everyone on the team, there's no hierarchy. Like even me as the owner, like guys, we're in this. Like we're in this together. Like, and you've got to have that mentality of like, we've got this. No one is any better than the other one. No, I don't care about your experience. So just getting through like that in the beginning was tough a little bit.
Oh, definitely. What would you say was like your lowest point in those first 6 months?
I think it was like within those first 3 because the first 2 coaches didn't work out, and so then I found myself coaching all the sessions. Losing your voice, you're tired, and then that mom life doesn't go away. At that point I had this was a little over a year ago, so they were 4 and 6. So it's just like that exhaustion of kind of having that mindset, which like I didn't sign up for this. Like this isn't what I wanted to do. I don't want to wake up at 3:30 and do all the things. Like it just wasn't my vision on what I thought the business was going to be. So it was a quick reality check. Luckily we didn't stay in that space for long because I found great coaches and great people who wanted to be on my team and wanted to show up for me, and I still have like the same coaches. So it was just that beginning, like first 3 months, like, wait, what? Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Right.
It's that whole, there's no turning back.
Yeah. Well, and like telling yourself, I always struggled with telling myself and recognizing that this was a temporary stage.
100%.
And this was just part of the growing pains.
Right.
And as a mom, when you are having to still parent and be there for your kids, but then also be there for your team, be there for your clients, you're trying to grow this empire. Yeah. It feels so permanent.
Yeah,
because
it does.
You don't see the end.
Right.
And then something just shifts.
Right.
It all just, turns out the way it's supposed to.
100%.
But when you're in that stage, it's like you just don't see the end.
It's tough. It was tough in the beginning, but it's just like anything, like for me, infants are hard. So like it's always hard, and that's how it should be because that makes you appreciate what you have. So like I'm not going to say I want to like do it over. Yeah. Like I'm good. Like let's leave that in the back. I learned, but I think it's important to go through that so you as an owner can relate to what the coaches are going through. Like, girl, I know you're getting up at 4 a.m. Like it's tough. Like so it just, I feel like it made me a better owner to really have to go through the trenches in the beginning. So I'm more relatable.
Definitely. And I think there's a ton of value when an owner starts in the beginning in the trenches, like you said, to build that community organically with your coaches.
For sure.
It helps strengthen your community. It helps strengthen the culture. And not only do your coaches see that, but the members see that. They see like, okay, this is the business owner that's here every single morning at 5 a.m. And she's putting in the work because she's invested and she wants to see this location grow. And there's a ton of value in that, not only for, learning it for your leadership, but also just to show your clients how invested that you are.
I remember one morning I was like struggle bus, losing my voice, because it was like transition. Like I wasn't used to being on the mic. This was not my previous gig. Like this is new. Right. And I was like, it was only me. There was no like B coach, and our sessions were full from the beginning, so that's a good thing, but it's not like I had 3 people, it's like go big or go home. And one of our members, she left and got me tea with like lemon. And she was like, you need to take care of yourself too. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, it was just so thoughtful for her to see, like, I'm showing up, I'm getting it done, but not without a struggle.
Like, oh yeah.
Like, I'm a human too.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like we're always telling our clients, like, take care of yourself when you're
and
sick.
Then here we are.
Don't come into the gym, and here we are, like, I promise I'm not sick,
Everything's
you guys. Everything's fine. I'm just dying inside. Definitely been there. Definitely been there. Oh gosh. Talk to me about some of your biggest wins in your ownership journey.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously this journey, it's so focused towards the clients and like bettering their lives in the best 30 minutes of their day, and we have the transformations. I mean, it's insane. And you almost kind of forget, but it was one of my coaches the other day was like, I was going through my phone and cleaning up some videos, and she sent me a video of one of our members from when she first started. And because it's like you forget, because you see them every day. So, I mean, not only the wins of like the physical transformations, but you see these people just like, they're so much happier and so much more confident. And it's really unexplainable, honestly. Like, it's something I've never experienced to have like witness and be a part of, and almost like the reason, if you want to say, like why these people are now living a better life. Like, it's insane. It's just the most rewarding thing when you step, because you get so in the hustle and bustle, like I'm task oriented, I'm like a strong eagle. So getting in the hustle and bustle, getting things done, we got to do this, this, and this. But if you breathe for a second and take a step back, it's like, damn, we're doing this. Like, this is awesome. And I think too, a big thing for me, because my team is so important to me, seeing how their lives have changed because of the opportunity I've given them. Like, we're so close, and they rely on me for a lot, which can be heavy, like can be pressure too, because you feel like, oh, I got to really show up. Like, they're looking at me to like, I'm the one that's supposed to know what to do, you know? But it's also so special for these, you know, individuals to think so highly of you and like really rely on you and count on you. Like, it's just such a win, and it's so rewarding. Like, I don't know, it's unexplainable, really.
It really is. And there are not many industries in which you could be a business owner in that are like gym ownership. Like, when the days are tough, like you said, and when the days are long and you are telling yourself like, you know, can I do this? When you're asking, when you're doubting your ability, when you know that you're changing someone's life and that you're making somebody a better person, that's what gets you through those times.
100%.
And there are not many other industries where you're going to feel like that. Like, if, just an example, like if you owned a restaurant and you're having like a really tough time in your ownership journey as a restaurant owner, like, it's not the same feeling satisfaction and like the feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm changing someone's life here. Like, you're not going to do that in many other industries. No. It's so rewarding.
It's important. And I think being a mother, you know, it's relatable, because you're like, obviously I'm responsible to make these two people good humans. But it almost kind of like goes into gym ownership too, when you have a team and you have like, you know, this big client base, like, I'm responsible for these people's experience, for these people's livelihood, because, you know, they're getting their paycheck from us. Like, it's just, you're responsible for a lot, and it's great. Like, it's rewarding.
Oh, definitely. And we're at a Fit Body Mastermind right now, and one other Fit Body owner shared with me this morning that only a statistic was released recently that said only 14% of people have a gym membership. Which, isn't that such a low percentage?
That is such a low percentage.
And I think it's because we are in this industry, and so we think everybody goes to the gym. Like, everybody goes to the gym. But only 14% of people have a gym membership. Now imagine, though, if only 14% have one, how many actually use it? And that goes to show you how much our industry is needed. It is not oversaturated at all. Like, there could be gyms on every corner, and still everybody would not be going there.
And it's funny because, you know, someone once told me, like, actually a competitor was like, there's room for all of us. Like, and that just really stuck with me. it doesn't matter which organization you're in, which franchise you're in, if you're a big box, you're another boutique gym, like what you want to do. There's room for all of us because we're all here for the same reason. We want to better the community, make people's lives better. Like everyone's in it to just make things better.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have to be careful because they are the competitors, but at the same time, be friendly because we're all trying to do the same thing and just make the community better. There's room for everybody, and it just really stuck with me. Like, oh, okay.
Right. I love that. Now, we talked a lot about how hard it is to have your own business, and the days are long, but entrepreneurship has provided me with opportunities that I never knew existed.
For sure.
When I first started this journey. Like I have more now that things are going more smoothly and like we've built a team, like I have more time freedom, I have financial freedom, like I have more freedom to do what I want when I want. And I know that you probably feel the same. Talk to our listeners a little bit about that and how owning your own fit body has provided you with that opportunity.
Definitely. So we're still working towards that. And that's, they say like the owner is the bottleneck in the business. Right. I can relate to that. And that's just kind of like my controlling personality. And I'll admit it. I'm admitting it. I'm controlling. But yes, last week we had muffins with mom with our VPK, Andrew. So yeah, it gives you that flexibility to be able to do those things or volunteer in Matthew's first grade class and kind of come as you can, go as you can. Like I do 9:30 session every day at boot camp. So I always go in the morning and then I'll stay and work a little bit. But then I have pickup at 12 o'clock and then I have pickup again at 2:45. So it's like I spend my whole day in car line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't do that with hygiene. I only work 2 days a week. But when I was there, I was there. Then there was no flexibility, a patient's waiting for you.
Right.
So it definitely takes time to build your team and trust your team, as it should, because it's your baby. But now that we're there and me being at Mastermind these next couple of days, the team's got it, they can run the business. They know to text me if they have questions. But it definitely opens up this whole new window of flexibility that I never would have had with my healthcare career.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when we started, we literally grew our business and grew our family at the same time. And when we were doing that, I didn't think much about how, okay, my life is going to change when this baby is here, and I'm not going to be able to be in the gym every day. But now looking back, it's like I wouldn't have had it any other way because I could go in early and then I could coach sessions and then spend the whole day with my daughter.
Exactly.
And then, or maybe, on the flip side, I could stay home all day and then go in the evening and coach sessions. And I really did have the best of both worlds. I was able to be a very present mom in those beginning stages and then also be in my business. And it's just so rewarding to be able to do both.
I agree.
To be a mom and to work, to have ambitions.
And we know there's so much mom guilt. All moms know that.
Always.
Am I doing enough? Am I present enough?
Right.
But, to each is their own. But for me personally, I like having my own thing.
Yeah.
I love being a mom, don't get me wrong, but I've always wanted to kind of be able to do my own thing too. So it's just great to feel like you can give both.
Yeah.
Not without struggle. Of course, balance is hard, but you figure it out, and I'm getting better at it, figuring out how to do that.
Right. And I think too, a lot of women, they say, they need an outlet, and fitness may be their outlet. I truly think that business ownership is my outlet because I love, like we said, we love being a mom. I love being there for my kids, but I also love having something that is that I'm controlling, that I can help lead, that I can help grow, a way for me to make my own money. That's been very important to me since I was very young. And so having that has been my outlet. And I think that is a true testament to what business ownership and what, this industry can do for you as a mom, because many women, they don't look at their job as an outlet. Right. They look at their job as like a cage that they're trapped in. Right. And they want to bust out so that they can do their own thing and also be a mom. And I think, that again is a true testament to just our love for this industry and this business is it can serve as an outlet and really fill your cup.
Right. And you can do both. You can be a really good business owner and a really good mom at the same time. And feel fulfilled.
Right.
Not like, oh, what's the next thing? Because
Exactly.
I'm like, my cup's empty.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. All right, so we're going to do a lightning round.
Awesome.
Are you up for it?
Yes.
Okay. So what is one thing you're most passionate about today?
I am like so passionate about women supporting women. It's really important to me. You know, we've created a culture, me and my coaches, we have so many women, we have men too, but we have so many women, and it's not a competitive thing. Like, it doesn't matter if you're the fittest person in the gym or you're just getting started. Like, it's just so important to me that we all support each other, and it's just like a safe space.
I love that. Okay, was anything ever holding you back from becoming a fitness professional?
Yeah, I mean, just the change. I'm not good at change, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm very I like predictability. I like knowing, like, I have schedules, I have lists. I'm like that girl. It makes me, it keeps me calm. So going into a space that I had really no idea what I was doing definitely created hesitation, but just like anything, you just got to go all in and commit, and that's what we did.
All right, what's the best advice that you've ever received as a business owner?
The best advice, someone once told me, one of my good friends actually, I don't know if this is advice, but it's a little bit of tough love, but it sticks with me, is winners win. So anytime you feel, or I feel like, oh no, can I do this? Like, you know how I said, everyone's looking at me like I'm the one in charge, I have to have the answers. I literally say that in my head, winners win. You're here for a reason. You got this.
Yeah.
So it just sticks, like winners win.
I love that. Something that my husband and I have been using a lot lately is, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes on it. And at first we started using it in the workplace, you know, with like our team and with leadership and with like a client issue.
Yeah.
And I have found myself using that all the time. Like even if I have a cold and I'm not feeling well, and I'm like, if this is not going to matter in 5 years, I am not going to complain that I am sick for more than 5 minutes. And I've just been using that all the time, and it's helped so much. It's just like a mindset shift.
Yeah, it like snaps you back to reality. Like, okay, it's really not that
Suck
big
it
of
up,
a deal.
buttercup.
We got this.
Yeah. All right, share one of your personal habits that contribute to your success. So maybe one of your daily habits.
I'm really disciplined. I think that, I don't know if that's a habit or more like a trait, but I think it's important because when you don't want to do something, you know we lose motivation because you're tired. You're like, I don't want to do that today, but I'm disciplined. So I'm never going to not do it because of my like really strong discipline.
Yeah. All right. What's one life hack that's made a big difference in your life?
I'm a list girl.
Okay.
So I think like, because our brains are in a million spots, because I have my mom brain, my wife brain, my business brain. Like, so I'm always like, oh, did I do that? Oh shoot, does Matthew have money in his lunch account? You know, he's like, Mom, I couldn't get my a la carte item today. I'm like, God forbid you didn't get the chips, you know? So for me, it really helps me to keep me sane, to make a list, and like Google Calendar is very important.
Oh, me too. I just started using Google Calendar
Me
about
too.
a year
I'm
ago.
like, how did I not know about
same. I used to, when people would send me like calendar invites, I'm like, it doesn't matter. I don't look at it. But now I do, and I live by it. But I used to have a planner, and I would like keep it in my purse. It would go everywhere with me. And eventually, like once I started my job at HQ and I had like a meeting every day, I'm like, I've got to start using Google Calendars.
Me too. I actually just started with Fit Body Forever because like Steven got us set up. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not know about it?
Right. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing. And it makes me a lot, like the day a lot smoother.
Oh yeah. And going back to the list, I still do lists. Like there's always a list on our counter, or like a ongoing grocery list that we always have on our refrigerator.
Right.
But I have gotten in a habit of, I'll send myself emails like throughout the day. Like
that's
it's just
smart.
The simplest thing, like change the clothes over in the dryer that I may have forgotten about.
I'll do that with text.
Yeah.
Like or I'll text my husband, I'm texting you this now because I'm gonna forget.
Right.
Yeah.
You better remember. Yeah. I do the
you
same
now.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Any books or podcasts any books that you've read recently that you would recommend, or any podcasts that you listen to regularly?
So as far as podcasts go, because I drove here, I actually listened to this one. I listened to our podcast. I'm always on Bryce's podcast.
The Fitness CEO.
Fitness CEO. So those are the ones that like I'm listening to the most. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Bonus finale. What does living beyond the scale mean to you?
Yeah. It means so much. I don't like the scale. I think it's such like a heavy thing, like, and we're so brainwashed as women. I think we're coming away from it, but a lot of our clients are like, oh, I don't want to get on the InBody.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. And it's because we're so wrapped up in that number. And so what we tell our clients, don't even look at it. Who cares? Like, what we're looking at is fat percent and body, like muscle mass. Like, we don't care about that. So anyway, to me, beyond the scale means like Fit Body Boot Camp is so much more than that number or that scale. Like, we're a community, it's bettering your life. It's creating that mental clarity. It's giving you those endorphins to just feel like, because you take that 30 minutes, you can do everything else better. Yeah. Like, you're a better mom, you're a better wife, because you're happier. Yeah. So it's just like, I don't like the scale. Like, we don't get it wrapped up in that, Let's just talk about all the great things that fitness brings to our lives outside of the scale.
Well, I love that. Thank you so much, Rebecca. So where can all of our listeners find you?
Yeah, so we're big on our Instagram account. It is 210 Fit Body. Okay. So you can find us there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. As always, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Apple Podcast or Spotify, and leave us a review. It is my goal to help educate our community on how to live their best lives in and outside of the gym, and just spread the word of body positivity everywhere. So thanks so much for joining us.